Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Now, this one is from DC Comics. This is Smallville, number 11, January 2005, which means it came out probably October 2004. And yes, this is the comic book that was tied in with the TV series of Smallville, which ran from 2001 to 2011, 10 years, successful 10-year run. Started on the WB, and then when WB and the UPN combined together to be the CW. It finished on the CW, so about halfway through the show's run. So, and I know a lot of people are not Smallville fans, even though it did very well, so there must have been a lot of Smallville fans out there. My wife and I were both big fans. I have all 10 seasons on DVD, and I've rewatched it, and I really enjoyed that series. And of course, for those who don't know what Smallville was, it was basically the life of a young Clark Kent growing up in a small town, coming to as an alien adopted in a small western town, growing up, coming to terms with superpowers. Growing up with superpowers. So that is one way to put it, and and being an alien and all kinds of other stuff, until he finally, in the last episode, donned the suit and became Superman. Even though we actually never saw him in the suit, the only image that we saw of Superman in that last episode was a CGI rendering of him flying. The closest we got was what looked like a T-shirt that had the S symbol on it outside the window of an aircraft. So he never actually wore the Superman suit in that series. Okay, but he had some variations on it. I enjoyed the series, and the comic book series ran for about 2 years. It was on a bi-monthly basis. And then they had another Smallville series after which was called Season 11, which took place after the end of the series. And it was him in the Superman suit. And the artist here, I'll get to that, does a really nice job of rendering the likenesses of the primary actors involved, and some good, just overall good draftsmanship, visual storytelling, and it's kind of an enjoyable story. Now at this point, it's taking place during what is probably the fourth season of the show. Of course, they had a whole bunch of, about a dozen or so, I can't remember how many, Smallville novels that came out, which I have most of those as well. And they all came out in about the first 2 or 3 seasons, and they're all involved with the kryptonite-induced supervillains of the week. A meteor freak of the week, I think is how it was described, and that's how this starts and goes as well. But it's not just a comic book. It's extra thick, and it, as well as a full-length comic story, had articles, interviews, and stuff. Jensen Ackles was the boyfriend of Kristen Kreuk's Lana Lang at the time. Just for this one season, just before he jumped over to the beginning of Supernatural, which ran for 15 seasons, 15 years. And of course, this is Tom Welling as Clark Kent, and Kristen Cruick as Lana Lang. And the title of this is Nature. It's already in the middle of something. He was Clark was trying to find this meteor freak who would spit acid and stuff, and was doing some nefarious things. I don't remember just what. And he takes him down. It was an all-nighter for him. He gets home as there's a big thunderburst at home in Smallville. He gets home, and because he's no sleep, and he didn't get to study, and he's got a big exam first thing in the morning at school, and now he's trying to unload the truck for the supplies and stuff for his mother, and his dad is getting sandbags ready, because and they get in an argument, as they often do, and he takes off and just zooms away at super speed. He just needs to go for a run and think. And he zooms down south through Texas, through Mexico, down and farther down until finally he's somewhere in the jungle in South America. Don't know where. And so, boom, he comes to a sudden halt. Flump, flump, flump. And it's a piece of kryptonite embedded in a stone monolith of some kind. And go, what the heck? And here are these local natives around close by, right there at the same place, and they are fighting some kind of monster. And Clark is just out of commission because the kryptonite is laying him low. The chieftain of the warriors grabs Clark and starts pulling him to safety, but the monster rakes his back with claws. And then we're back in Kansas in the thunderstorm while Jonathan is obviously upset with Clark, trying to do what he can to save the farm, save the corn crop, and he's remembering when they had a similar storm when he was a boy, and half their crop washed away, and here they're opening their farmland is right in the floodplain. Opening the spillway in a nearby dam, which is that would be what, Lake McConaughey? No, that would be farther north. I don't remember. And it's going to get them while he's trying to save the crop and the farm. Meanwhile, Clark, a few minutes shortly later, comes around, and here is this young fellow at a typewriter. He is some kind of photojournalist or journalist down here, writing some kind of story on these natives that got some kind of warfare going on, and he comments on how quickly those claw marks on his back is just healed up. Puts his ruined T-shirt back on. And the chieftain tells him, "We're glad you were here. We knew someone would be able to." And he said, "We know because of the way you were affected by the green stone that you are the one who will help us defeat Lotax." And Lotax is the name of the monster. And he says, "I can't. I got to get home. I got to save my farm." And then we switch back to the farm where they're trying to build a retaining wall to save their crops, and then Lex Luthor and a bunch of his people with vehicles show up to lend a hand. Although Jonathan did not like the Luthors, he is eager to accept their help. Then Clark is getting the lowdown. Turns out that Lotax was a mighty warrior of their tribe, but they had their leader had been a real bad guy, basically a tyrant, and Lotax then overthrew him, and then he became the villain, and he was defeated by the current guy and exiled, and his few followers went out, and then some time ago, there was in a battle with a jaguar. I couldn't think of the word. A black jaguar. Right, and then they had a meteor shower, which means this took place about 12, 14 years before. And then this meteor shower, meteors crashed in there, and it caused some kind of mutation in Lotax, and he attacked and killed a bunch of people. But now you're the only one who can possibly defeat him and take this dagger and yada yada yada. So, but he said, no, I can't. He said, oh. Finally, he relents. He's given a new shirt. He's going to go home, but then he finds that the chieftain went to face him himself. So Clark does race to the scene of where they're fighting, and this is the first time we actually see what Lotax looks like, and he is mutated into a black jaguar. And just before he can kill the chieftain, Clark lays into him, and they are fight, and because this beast is very powerful, and Clark is again thrust against the monolith with the kryptonite stone in it, and now he is powerless. But and as Lotax is about to pounce on Clark, the chieftain is able to slay Lotax, and he falls down. I'll come back to that. He falls down, and then in death, the mutation ends, and he separates back. He was a mutated form of a combination of the man Lotax and the black jaguar. In death, the chieftain turns to thank Clark, but he's already long gone, and by then he is back in Kansas. The storm is past. And the farm, the crops, everything have been washed away, and the Kents are at the Luthor mansion. Meanwhile, the fella, the journalist down in South America with the tribe, he's writing up the story, and Clark says, "I'm sorry." He explains to them what had happened. He said, "You did the right thing. They needed your help," so Clark, using his powers, restores the farm and the crop. It doesn't mention anything about where he got these nearly grown stalks of corn to replant their fields, but there he did. Clark did the right thing. Then more articles and photographs about the show and the episodes and stuff. And I forgot to mention the creators here. When it was Dan Thompson wrote it. Tom Durench, or I think that's how you pronounce it, Durench, did the pencils, and I can't read the name. They're right here. Darenick, he did the pencils. Adam DeCracker was the inks. Guy Major did the colors, and Jared K. Fletcher was the lettering. I enjoyed it. And I like that it's basically a one-off. That's what I like to see as much as I can, instead of the long-running continuous storylines. As much as I can, because I only got a couple of issues from this run. I never bought too much. It was just on the expensive side. But that is all I've got to share with you this time for Smallville number 11. Young Clark Kent learning to become Superman. Now, let me know what you think of this book. Did you like the TV series? Did you read any of the comics? Did you read any of the novels? Any of that stuff? Let me know what you think of any of those in the comments down below. Oh, and remember, comics are art.